fellow beaders, it's JP and I have my next tutorial ready for you. It's called my Bordeaux Bracelet. So if you saw the earring tutorial last week, then that's the matching bracelet to that. But, and I'll give you a close-up. So here's the bracelet right here, and it's very similar to the earrings. So if you were able to do the earrings, you'll be able to do the bracelet, no problem. But before I go into the bracelet, I wanted to show you something that I just recently found on Etsy. It's by a shop called Practically Packed, and she made this really cool beading bag. And it's a canvas bag, and it says beading bag on it, and then it has your list of stuff that you can bring with you. So it says beads, bindings, clasp, tools, scissors, beading mat, wire, storage bins, and design and create. I think it's just a cute bag, so you know, if you want to travel with your beads. It's got a zippered pocket, so a big zippered pocket, and then a smaller zipper pocket on the inside. And let's see, here's the tag. I just got it. So I bought this because I liked it. So this isn't like, I'm not affiliated with her in any way. I just happened to see it on Instagram actually. And so I found her Etsy shop and bought it for that reason. Anyway, here is what the Etsy shop is called. It's called Practically Packed if you look for it. And let's see, there's a Gmail. I don't think you can read it because I need to fix the focus on that. But if you just go into Etsy, anyway, if you want the bag, she's got it. It's got these nice straps. And what's nice is that it folds up. So it's good, you know, storage, travel bag. I love it. I just recently got it. I'm in love. She's got a bunch of other bags with different things written on it. So I think she has one for road trip. She has a laundry one. She's got quite a few others, like 25 different bags. Anyway, so I just wanted to give it a shout out to her because it's something, so whenever I love a product, I just want to tell people about it. So that's why I am telling you fellow beaders about this great little bag that I found. Okay, so on to the bracelet. Anyway, I'm standing up so that you guys could see the bag better, and so now the camera angles are weird, but anyway, there's the bracelet, and I will give you a close-up and explain what you need in terms of beads and length and so forth. All right, well, happy beading, and don't forget, there's a Facebook group that I have. It's called JRPDesigns, so if you get on Facebook, just join that, and you guys can share pictures of something from my tutorials. You can share other things that you make from other tutorials. It doesn't really matter. You can ask questions. I answer questions, and I know that there's other people in the group who are happy to help out. So join the group, like my Facebook page. It's JRPDesigns. So let's get started. Okay, so here is the close-up of the bracelet, and so my bracelet is from the loop here to the loop on the other side is a 5 1/4 inches. So basically what ended up happening is if I had to make a whole nother set of components, the bracelet would be way too long for me. And so with my clasp, and I added an extra couple of jump rings to make an extension, the bracelet's the perfect length. So you may need to do that, but to make a 5 1/4 inch bracelet, you're going to need 60 of the 3x4 rondelles. You can even use 3x5. You can use bicones. Those are the two that are going to work the best, rondelles or bicones. Rounds, it's going to be a little harder because of the way these sit. You'll need 11/0 seed beads, and you'll need superduos. And that's it. So it's really only 3 bead types that you need. You'll need a clasp of your choice and some jump rings, depending on what the clasp is that you're using. So this is not too complicated. I would say it's probably a sort of a advanced beginner to intermediate project. And this is the back. So you guys know how I feel about having sort of a very finished piece. And that's the front. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get started. To begin, go ahead and pick up 4 of your rondelles and 4 of your 11/0s in alternating order, and then what we're going to do is tie a knot. So bring your beads down towards the end. You're going to leave a little tail that we're going to weave in later. I'm trying to find my end here. Looks like I had a lot of thread here. Anyway, so I'm just doing your basic square overhead knot, whatever you want to call it, and making sure that I don't catch any beads as I do this. So there it is. Go into the closest rondelle. So my knot's right here between the 11-0 and the rondelle. So I'm just going to go through all the beads again to reinforce. And I'm almost back to the beginning. So you want to exit out of a rondelle. So far this is what you should have. And in the next step, you're going to pick up 3 of your super duos and you're going to go back around the rondelle. So I'm just going to go back around. My thread's coming out this direction here. I'm going back around it just like that. And that's what you're going to get. Then you go through your 11-0 and on to the next rondelle, and then we're going to repeat what we just did with the super duos. So I'm going to pick up 3 more over here and go through the rondelle, and you can continue forward into the next 2 beads like I'm doing here. So, and that's what you're going to get. And I'm picking up another 3. And I'm making sure that the super duos are not blocked. I think this one is. Yep, a little block in it. So I'm going to move that one aside. So you want to make sure you're checking that because it's a pain to undo your work just because of a clogged super duo. And last one. I'm picking up my 3 over here. So if you don't see my needle, that's where it's at, just kind of off out of the frame there. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap these around the rondelle. So you're just going to go back through the rondelle, get the tail thread out of the way, and your piece will look just like that. So I'm just tightening all of the beads. So I want to make sure that everything is really fairly tight. Now I'm going to take the work, I'm just going to turn it this way so it's a little easier on my wrist, and I'm actually going to go back around, just going through these beads once more. And then back through the rondelle. And that'll tighten that up. And you can do that as you're working through all of these. So it just helps reinforce it and keeps it a little bit tighter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the first super duo here. And then I'm going to go into this other hole of that same super duo. Just like so. I feel like my focus is a little blurred, so I'm just going to try fixing the focus here. Making sure that everything is nice and sharp for you guys. All right, now, once again, turning the work this way. And the only reason to do this is because it's just easier on my wrist. And you'll find the same thing. You'll find yourself turning the work because working in one direction is just easier. So moving the tail thread out of the way. And so I'm coming out of this upper hole of this super duo there. So for that, I'm going to pick up one rondelle and go into this next one
And make sure the thread is not wrapped around anything. Okay, so that's what you get. Now for the next one, you pick up an 11/0, a rondelle, and 11/0. And you're going to skip this middle one here, and you're going to go into the one below it, or the one next to that. And what's going to happen is the one that's in the middle, the superduo that's in the middle, is going to get pushed down. And that's what we want to do. We're going to come back to those superduos in the next step. So pick up another rondelle, just the rondelle itself, and go into this next superduo. And again, tension should be really, really tight here. And now pick up an 11/0, a rondelle, and an 11/0, and go into the next superduo. So you're skipping over the middle one, by the way. I guess I should repeat that again, just so you guys are, so that's clear. The middle one is getting pushed down. So those are the two in the middle that are pushed down. And now it's time for my lone rondelle. So you're just going to pick up the rondelle and go into this next group. So you're alternating between ones that have 11/0s on either side of it, the rondelles, and ones that are just the rondelles by themselves. And now picking up a 11/0 rondelle, 11/0. And I'm skipping this middle one here, and I'm going to go into this next one. Like so. And then the rondelle by itself into this next superduo. And 11/0 rondelle, 11/0, skip the middle one and go into this next one, and then go through a few more of these beads. So we are going to go back around to reinforce. So pull that up and the superduo down. And this is what you're going to get. The piece is going to pull upward, so it's going to be a little concaved upward. And then these are the superduos on the bottom that we skipped. So first thing we're going to do is go through the beads to reinforce what we just did. So I'm doing, it's kind of a diamond shape, so I'm going through one side of my diamond here at a time. Okay, that's, and the last side here. So this should feel much more secure now that we've gone through all the beads. Now go into the 11/0 and the next superduo. Okay, turn the work. So you guys can see I'm going to switch holes here, or go into this other hole of this superduo here. This is where I'm coming out of this one, I'm going into this one, and then I'm going to go through into this middle superduo. So this is one of the ones that we skipped. I'm making sure my thread isn't going to get wrapped around, and it wants to wrap around this rondelle here. Okay, and now we're going to go into this hole of the superduo. Just like that. Then you're going to pick up two 11 and we're going to connect all of our skip superduos together. So grab 2 11 and go into this next superduo. And repeat. So we'll connect all 4 of these. And what I'm doing is holding these in place with my thumb and my index finger here. I picked up 2 and I'm going into this one, so that's my 3rd one. So I have 3 sides complete. I need to complete the last side. I'm just going to move that over. Oops, now I lost them both. Okay, and we are going to reinforce all of this a few times. So you'll see it wants to get loose and open back up. So we got to keep that tight. So here's what it's supposed to look like. And you want to hold on to it and then just go through the beads. So I find that you might need to go through it 2 or 3 times to really secure the circle. So see, now that I've gone through it, it's not trying to open back up again. And what's cool is that the centerpiece then pops up when you pull the superduos that you skip together. And there's our component. So now this is an end component. So for the end component, we're going to need a loop for our clasp. And so in order to do that, what you want to do is come out of one of these rondelles that have the 11 between them. So I'm right here, so I'm going to go down into this other hole. I'm coming out of a superduo, go down to the other hole, and if you can, go into the superduo that's next to it. Then we switch holes again, so we're going to go into this other hole, and that should put us in exactly the place we need to be. So now I'm just going to turn this over. So I'm here, I'm coming out of this superduo. Now I'm out. And go through the 11 and the rondelle. And I'm exactly where I need to be. Go ahead and pick up a superduo, a rondelle, superduo, rondelle, superduo, and another rondelle, and then one last superduo. And we are going to go back around our rondelle here. And this is what you're going to get. And I'm just going to turn the work over. And I'm going to go back through all of the beads to reinforce. Just like so, and then I'm going to go through I want to come out of a superduo basically, and I want to come out of one that's near the top. I'm going to go through this other hole, and then I need to connect my superduos together. So I'm going to pick up an 11 and go through this next superduo here. So you're skipping over the rondelles. We're not going to do anything with the rondelles. And pick up an 11 and then go into this next one. Again, pick up an 11-0 and we're up into this next one. Last time, pick up an 11-0 and go into the next superduo, and then just go through some beads, and we're gonna again do another reinforcement here too. You want to give this a good tug to keep the tension tight and get these superduos and 11-0s to come together. So I'll move my hand out of the way there, just make sure you guys can see. So all I'm doing is going through the beads, and you may need to, again, like you did before, you may need to go through these 2 or 3 times. And I think it should be good. So I'm going to go through, because I need to come out of this rondelle here at the top. So now what I'm going to do is flip and go into this other hole of the superduo. So I'm exiting out of one here, and then I can go through the rondelle. And there we have it. So that's what it looks like from the front. Pick up 6 11-0s. Go back around the rondelle. Just like so. Go through the first one. Pick up an 11-0 and go through the next 2. Oh, and of course I unthreaded my needle. I really need to get better at that. It drives me crazy when I do it, and especially when I'm filming. So sorry about that. Okay, now we are going to pick up 1 and go through 2 again. Pick up 1 and go through this last 11-0 and through the rondelle. And you should get this funky little triangle shape. It's sort of an offset diamond shape. And that is the loop for your clasp. So I'm going to go ahead and reinforce. So go through all the beads once more. So this additional step is what you're going to need to do for the 2 components that are at the end of your bracelet, so on either end. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to tie off. And basically, we're coming out of this rondelle, so I'm going to go through this superduo here. And I'm going to tie a 1/2 inch knot. So I'm just going to go underneath the thread. It's called a thread bridge. Make a loop. So there's the loop, and what you do is go through the loop. So there's my loop again. And it makes a knot around the thread here. So I have my knot, and I'm going to go through the rondelle and the next superduo. Make sure your thread is not wrapped around the way this one is, wrapped around twice. And make another knot. So we're going to go around the thread This is called a half-hitch knot. Go through the loop and then just pull tight and then go through the rondelle. So I also went through the 11-0 over here. Then I'm going to go through the superduo because I'm going to make my way this way. Again, we're going to make one more knot. So I tend to do 3 knots. Kind of a personal preference thing there. There's my third half-hitch knot. Make sure my needle doesn't get unthreaded. And then I'm going to go through the beads. So I'm just going to weave the thread away now. So I don't want to cut my thread close to the knots. So okay, I'm far enough away. I can cut this one. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that one to get it out of the way. So there's one component. And what you need to do is now make a few others depending on the length of bracelet you need. And in the next step, I'm going to show you how to make the connection. So now to do the connection, what you're going to do is you want to exit out of one of these superduos here, or sorry, not superduo, rondelle. And you're going to pick up a superduo, a rondelle, and a superduo. And you're going to go through the rondelle on this other component here. Just like so. And then you pick up a superduo, another rondelle, and our superduo. And you go back through the rondelle where you started. There we go. Because of the 11-0s, it's having a little bit difficulty finding the hole. And you don't want to go through the 11-0s. So make sure you're only going through the rondelle. Bring everything together, and that's what you're going to get. I'm moving the 11-0s out of the way there. And go ahead and go through the beads a couple times to reinforce. Make sure you're keeping your tension tight. There's no slack. And go through a superduo because we're going to connect our superduos together on the other side. And turn the work. I'm turning it toward the back. So here's where I'm coming out of this superduo here. So I'm just going to go into this other hole. And I'm going to pick up an 11-0. It's off my, it's out of frame, but picked up an 11-0. And I'm going to go into this next superduo. And I'm going to pick up another one and go into this next one. Pick up one more, go into superduo number 3, and last time, so that all 4 superduos are connected to each other, pick up an 11-0 and go back through our first one where we started. Pull these together, and they should just come together as they are now. And we are going to reinforce. Okay, so you can reinforce this a couple times. This feels pretty secure to me, so I'm going to go through this 11-0 and then come out of the superduo. And I'm going to turn it over and go into the upper hole of this one. And there we go. Go through the rondelle. And I'm basically going to tie off. So you can kind of go in any direction you want to tie off. So I'm going to go back into the component, but you can go around and tie off in here too. So then through the superduo, and I'm going to make a knot between the superduo and the rondelle. There's the loop, go through the loop. Then go through the rondelle. And I think I have my thread wrapped around. Nope. Yes, I did. Go through the rondelle, the superduo, and the 11-0. Make another knot. I just went through the loop, there it is. And coming out right in front of this next rondelle here and making my last knot. And then just go through a few of the beads and we cut our thread. All right. Okay, now I'm going to grab some jump rings and my clasp. So I actually have a clasp and an open jump ring here. So I just feed it through the loop, grab my pliers, and close off the jump ring. And then I do that. On the other side, I have 2 jump rings together here. So this is a way to do an extension if you need a little bit of an extension. Oops. I am at a really weird angle here, so there we go. Having trouble gripping my jump rings. There. Okay, and there you have it. We are done. I hope you guys like this tutorial and like the Bordeaux bracelet. And so basically you'll make the number of components. I had 4 big components and 5 of the little component parts. It'll just depend on the length that you need. All right, guys, I will see you next time.